Hi everyone, my name's Katharine Otley and I am the Project Communications and Engagement Officer for the 30,000 project. I'm sorry that I'm not there with you in person, but I just have made this recording so that I can explain to you all about the Join resources, which are the resources to help churches recruit new volunteers with children and young people. The campaign officially launches on the 22nd of April, and I'm going to run through everything that you need to know about it now. So there is the logo that you can see there. And these are the things I'm going to cover. We're going to look at what is the 30,000 project, just in case you're not sure what that is, the Join campaign pilot that we did, the Join resources for dioceses that you will be sent, and the Join resources for churches, when the launch is, and then any questions. So, what is the 30,000 project? So, it's a centrally funded project. It's chaired by the Bishop of Leicester, Bishop Martin, and there's three main work streams, and you can see those in those yellow circles there. So there's three basic things that the 30,000 project's trying to do. The overarching aim is to get 30,000 new children and youth leaders by 2030. And that's coming under that bold outcome of wanting to double the number of children and young people in our churches by 2030. So that's what it's feeding into. And then within that, there are those three work streams. So the first one you can see there is to develop support for existing employed, so that's paid children and youth leaders. So the ones that we've got already, we are looking to see how we can support them better. And you may have seen the survey that came out in January, which is to do with that work stream. The second one is supporting the recruitment of 3,000 new employed children and youth leaders. So that's a separate thing that we're doing, and you'll see other comms about that, about new apprenticeships and degrees and that sort of thing that will be all available soon. And then the third one, which is what we're talking about today, is supporting the recruitment of 27,000 new volunteer children and youth leaders. And just to be really clear, this is the project's aim is to help churches recruit these people. We're not recruiting them centrally and then sending them out to you. We're trying to provide you with a toolkit to help churches on the ground recruit. So that's what the 30,000 project is. That's what it does. They're the three main work streams. The project board members, you can see there, we've got quite a mixture of different people. So as I said, it's chaired by Martin Snow, the Bishop of Leicester, but there's also a huge variety of other people who are on that project board. And it meets once a month, but we also have other people who feed in to the meetings as well. So yeah, that's who they are. So the Join campaign pilot that we did ran in January and February of this year, and we ran it in 5 dioceses that you might be able to see on that map. So it was Durham, Derby, Leicester, Worcester, and Exeter. So they had 2 months with the resources. And then after that, they fed back to us about how it had gone. And that was really useful to hear from the diocese. There were little tweaks that we made actually as we were going along to help them, things that I realised that they needed that I hadn't realised before. So that will be all ready for the launch on the 22nd of April. And also feedback from the churches was really encouraging, and we'll see a case study in a moment. But what came out really strongly for me from that was that when the churches decided to go for it and run the resources and run the film, um, and yeah, really got behind the campaign, it really worked very well for them, and they got new volunteers as a result. I think, if I'm being honest, the tricky part seemed to be kind of convincing the churches to do it, or the churches having time to do it. But it was encouraging for us to see that when they did do it, it seemed to be successful. So the next slide is about the case study. This is Christine Harrison. She's the Director of Youth, Children and Young Families Ministry at Emmanuel Church in Loughborough. I won't read you the whole thing that she has said there, but she did a really great recording for us that I'm going to edit down and put onto Twitter and social media, where she's basically just saying that they used the resources, they found them really easy to access, and as she says there, she says we were delighted with the response. They had people stepping forward having played that film, and she would recommend that other churches take a look at the resources and share them. So that was really encouraging to hear, and I think it's always good for churches to hear of other churches where it's gone well, rather than kind of top heavy people saying, oh, you should use this. It's really nice that we've got her yeah, saying how well it went for her. So that was very encouraging. So, next slide, the resources for the diocese. So, I've split this into, you've got the resources for the diocese and then resources for churches. And there's obviously a bit of an overlap, but this is running through what, as a diocese, you will receive, and this will be sent to the your comms teams, and also to the Diocesan Youth and Children Network. So, the main bit of it really is this 5-minute film. And you're going to watch that once you've listened to me talking for a bit longer. You'll get to watch the film. So the film is 5 minutes long, and it's quite powerful and punchy. And the idea of that is that it's played in churches during a service, and that it's really just an opener for the church to play the film and then say, or maybe we could have some volunteers at the front talking about what they do with children and youth in our church, what they love about volunteering, why they got involved. And then obviously go on to the ask and say, but actually, there is a need. We need more people. Um, there is at the beginning of the film, you'll see that there's a quote from the Archbishop of Canterbury talking about safer recruitment and safeguarding. So that is covered. I know that it can feel a little bit uncomfortable, because in some ways you're like, yeah, we want loads of people to put their hand up and volunteer, and then at the same time, there's obviously that concern that you want to make sure that you're getting the right people. So yeah, that is talked about at the very beginning of the film. So there's the long film, which is 5 minutes, and then there's also 5 1-minute films. And the idea behind those is that they will be, I guess, better. They're going to lend themselves better to social media, just because they're a bit shorter. And also they could be played in church services as well, if they were very sort of tight for time. The 1-minute films tend to cut your when you do see them, you'll see that they basically covering what the 5-minute film is. So they're the 5-minute films split down into sections, really. But they should be better for social media. So the other resources are, when we send these all out to the diocese, you can see some examples there. So there will be copy for newsletters, so that you've got copy all ready to explain what the Join campaign is. And you can just put that straight into your diocesan newsletters. I know some of you will have main newsletters that go out. I used to work for the Diocese of Exeter, so they've got a weekly newsletter that goes out every Tuesday, but then they also have one for the children and family work. So however it works in your diocese, but we'll have the copy for that ready for you to use. There'll be social media slides, so you can see, I know my face is slightly covering that one on the left, but that's an Instagram slide there with that gentleman, and on the right is the Facebook slide already. We'll obviously send you the logo and also the volunteer profile cards you can see in the middle there. That they're a bit meant to be a bit like sort of trump cards that children play with. So they're just trying to highlight the fact that there isn't actually a typical type of volunteer. It's not like they're all parents, or they're all young, or they're all retired. It's just a huge mixture. And yeah, just trying to make people look at these people and think, well, actually, if they can volunteer, then maybe I can as well. So we will send all of those to you. And then the resources for churches. So obviously the churches themselves will have what you've got as well, in terms of they'll have the films that they can run in their Sunday services or on their social media. They'll have the social media slides and the logo and the volunteer profile cards. They will also have posters, and so I've designed these. They look very similar to the social media slides that you just saw on the previous screen. But they will be, you can order those online and they'll be delivered for free. So we had thought about churches printing them off, but that never looks so good. And there's obviously a cost to that for the churches. So we're just trying to make this as sort of free and accessible and affordable as possible for churches on the ground. There was also guidance on how to plan a recruitment campaign, incorporating safer recruitment, and how to manage volunteers well. So there'll be a link to the website, and on that is guidance on both of those things. Because obviously, there's no point us recruiting masses of volunteers and then we're not managing them and then they all leave. And at the same time, yeah, churches also need to think that through in terms of they can't just play the film hoping lots of people will come forward, and then when they do come forward they're not quite sure who they're meant to be talking to. There's not a clear sort of pathway for them. So it's just about kind of encouraging churches to make sure that they are ready before they commence on the volunteer recruitment campaign. So key dates are, as I said, it's launching Monday the 22nd of April. And there is also the 1st to the 8th of June is National Volunteering Week. So we were really hoping that that would give churches enough time to plan in their service for, I think it's Sunday the 2nd of June, which falls within National Volunteering Week, and that they could run it on Sunday the 2nd of June would obviously be perfect because it is National Volunteering Week. But having said that, I should say that this is not a sort of time limited campaign. They can, as a diocese, you can launch it when it fits best for you. And as churches, they can also run it whenever's best for them. So as much as we think it would be really great to be that first week in June, it doesn't mean that if you can't hit that time, you're like, oh, we missed out, because you haven't at all, and they can be used throughout the year. So on Monday, the 22nd of April, the resources will be sent and promoted on the Diocesan Comms Handbook to the Diocesan Youth and Children's Network. It will also go out in lots of different Church of England newsletters and on national social media. Depending on how it's been sent, obviously there's going to be all the resources will be on the Church of England website, but also particularly for the comms teams, they'll be sent and accessed on a Google Drive, so they've got everything there that they need straight away. These are some launch ideas for dioceses. So when we launched this as a pilot, I didn't really specify to dioceses what I thought, how I thought they should launch it, and so there was quite a variety across the board as to who launched it in what way, and some teams had more time than others, so there was a difference there. But so these are just some ideas that we thought about. So obviously it would be great if you could put them in your newsletters. That's the sort of quick win. But it would also be amazing if you have the time and the resources and the energy and the enthusiasm for it. Maybe if you might want to do something else as well. So webinars are an idea that you could run, I guess, kind of similar to this one, where churches can obviously join and ask questions. And if you'd like someone from the 30,000 project to come along to that, then do ask. There's an email there for you to get in contact. A cream tea. So I think it was Durham Diocese that did this. They organised a cream tea event to launch it to churches, and they said that it was really popular. I'm not surprised, as I think they got a free cream tea. And so that was a good way for them to meet the churches who were interested in it, and let them ask their questions. Targeting churches. So a couple of the dioceses did this, really well, and that's basically by sort of thinking about, from what you know of your churches, are there some that are really struggling for volunteers who you think could run this and it could be a great success? And just, if you have the time, and I know everyone is really busy and I know you're trying to do a million other things, but if you have the time to pick up the phone or to email a few of the churches that you think this could work really well in, then that would be brilliant. And also, obviously, if you're out and about, just remembering to mention it in the meetings that you have with churches. I know when Exeter had it, they did that really well. They were playing the film when they were out at external meetings at churches, which really helped to promote the campaign. And clergy days are another thing that this would really lend itself to. The film would be a good thing to show to clergy. It's great to get the clergy on board, obviously, and it would just sort of raise awareness of the campaign and the materials that are available. That's obviously not an exhausted list, so if you have other ideas, then go for it and let us know how it goes. The next slide is just, so you have the QR code there for the 30,000 project mailing. So if you would like to be kept in touch with what is happening with the 30,000 project, we send out a mailing about every couple of months, which will keep you totally up to date with what we're up to. The QR code is there, and I think that there'll also be a link coming up in the chat so that you can click on that and sign up to that newsletter. And then the last slide is questions. Obviously, I can't answer these, but my lovely colleagues will. There was just a few things that I wondered if you might want to think about. So, is there anything else that you need to help launch this in your diocese? We would really love to hear if there's something that, as I've been talking, you think actually that would be really helpful, and she's not mentioned that. So just please let us know. Is there anything else that you think churches need? Um, if you can think of anything, again, please do say. How do you think we can encourage churches to embrace the campaign? So in the pilot, that seemed to be the biggest challenge and again, churches are busy, aren't they? Like we all know they're stretched, they've got a lot going on. But yeah, how do we encourage them to really take this up? Because in the long run, it should really help them. And is there anything you would like to ask about the campaign? So I'm going to stop talking now and give you a chance to ask your questions and also to watch the film. I hope you enjoyed that, and do get in touch if you have any other questions or comments or feedback. That would be lovely. Many thanks. Bye.